What is that sound I hear? I hear some radio coming through. You got something playing over there? What's up, everyone? It's Friday again. Another Friday. Another person calling me that I don't want to talk to. Let's see who this is. Should we put them? Oh, it's ADT. Okay. Never mind. What's up, people? Yeah, sorry. I'm a little distracted. I was grinding metal off of the E36. I thought I was right. You know, I should start reading instructions more. The instructions are telling you how to do it. I just was going off of what I assumed. So the bracket doesn't line up without you kind of squaring off the steering knuckle, which doesn't seem right. So I just start grinding away. But, yeah, it's good now. It's done. It's ready. Good to go.
So you know how to do the rest of them now?
Well, the front anyway, yeah. So, but I couldn't start, so that's why we're 20 minutes late. I couldn't let that go. I had to get it done. So anyway, what's going on? Anything exciting this week?
I got lots of exciting stuff. We got the Packers are out there packing up a bunch of Civic shirts right now. They head out the door.
Oh,
finally came in.
Sweet.
So that's good. We got some good questions here in the chat. People were talking about what they thought you were up to the past 20 minutes or so.
I was fabricating. I was doing fabrications.
There's lots of talks about zebra cakes. And
No. I'm good.
You're not off the rail.
But I haven't. This is why I hate doing the macro diets, because I haven't lost. I lost 5 pounds initially, and then nothing. You know, it takes a while to for your body to adapt. I hate it, but at least someone's doing it for me. I'm not counting it. They just measure it out, give me the things. I pay them the monies, and I eat the food.
Hey, Henry Collins in the chat says, Matt, you've inspired me to start working out 4 days in a row. Nice.
Sweet. Yeah, I think I'm going to take today off. So I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll take off today. I'm freaking debilitatingly sore. And so I'll take a rest day today, and then I'll go tomorrow morning. So that's the plan.
Sounds good. Oh, I want to start off with this one because this one has come up a couple different times here. Who was it on Facebook that said, Jack, Matt, we are being neglected on the Wash and Talk front. When can we expect one?
I was thinking about doing the Raptor this weekend.
Didn't you? You posted a picture of washing one of them, but I guess that wasn't a Wash and Talk.
No, I mean, it's too hard. It's hard to explain unless you've sat down and talked for an hour while working the camera, washing the car, dealing with all the equipment. And so to try to do a wash and talk while I'm fumbling around where the hose is leaking, and maybe I should do that so people realize, people always, they have us as a lifeline. I don't have any lifeline. I'm the lifeline. And so when I was messing with pressure washing in the beginning, there's no one to call. There's no one to email. There's no one to say, hey, I got this thing leaking or that leaking. And so when you're dealing with a pressure washer, you've got to deal with all kinds of leaks and figuring out what works and what doesn't, and sometimes a fitting doesn't quite work, and kind of fumbling through it. So I've been using the active pressure washer, and if I hate to say this, I hate to admit this, but if you didn't know it was there,
if you couldn't see it,
right, you'd swear you're using a Krenzla. It's pretty good. So yeah, I think that's there's no question that's the one you want unless you can buy a Krenzla. So yeah, I'm eating crow on that. So luckily I sell it.
There you
go. And then we're gonna have it all over the darn planet. So be patient. We'll make different European versions, stuff like that too, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've already sold a lot of them. That's really good. People are liking it. Let's see here. Here's a good question. A couple of quick detailing questions here. One from Steven on Facebook. Does applying bead maker to coated glass serve as a topper to the coating? Will it inhibit the coating from working as it was designed to do?
I don't think so. I put it on my glass sealant coating, and I feel like it's a topper for it. Who knows? But I don't think there's any detriment to it as long as you have nice, decent towels that aren't loaded up with, that aren't like dead. As long as you can wipe the streakiness off, I think it works really well.
All right, let's see. Christopher Hoots on Facebook says, my Escalade was corrected and coated with a ceramic coating 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Can I go over this now with 845, or am I stuck sanding what coating is left off of there?
Well, you won't have to sand it. You'll just have to polish it off. 845 probably isn't going to stick. It's probably going to last a week and probably not going to bond with the leftover coating. So you're probably going to want to polish and then start with something fresh. But you won't have to sand it. Sanding was really only in the old days. Some of the old coatings, original C quartz, A quartz, some of like the original ceramic pros and stuff like that, where you'd put it on and it was and like if you didn't wipe it off, and then you'd have to sand it off. Like many times, like the like detailers talk about, like a lot of the horror stories you hear about the old wives' tales that you have to sand it off was that some guy installed a thick coat of C quartz 1.0 and didn't level it, and so then he just left it, and so you got like this mountain of coating on the car and they can't get it off, and so then they have to sand the crap out of it. So, but most of the modern coatings, even a perfect finish will take it off.
All right, let's see. This is one of our Canadian friends here. Mm-hmm. What's your suggested procedure for prepping old PPF, one Canadian winter, for coating?
Make sure you get the 1/4-inch precision tape that we have. So you have and I would tape with a little 1/4-inch piece. I would tape all the edges. So you don't mainly so you don't. I mean, you can come this way. So an edge you can come off the you can come off the PPF, but you can't really. You don't want to come onto the PPF. So in other words, you can generally go from PPF to paint, but not from paint to PPF because you're going to end up lifting the edge or causing problems. It's best to just tape that off and just stay away with it, stay away from it. But then just treat it like normal. You want to make sure you don't heat it up, but you should be able to polish it with with the normal procedure. PPF usually correct pretty quickly. So if you have scratches and stuff in it, if it's not one of the newer self-correcting ones where you can heat it up, you would just you could polish it like normal. So you could polish it with a usually you won't need microfiber cutting pads, but you can polish it and then coat it. Use Halo though. Use a G-Technic Halo to coat it with at the end. And don't use panel wipe. I learned that.
Too strong.
Yeah, I ruined the panel. The little tiny sliver on Sean's car, I ruined it. It turned real quickly.
All right, let's see. SJ here wants to know: do you ever plan on carrying 303 Aerospace in the store? And if you have experienced it, what was your take?
I don't think so. I've used back when I had a S2000. It's like the standby. You use 303 Aerospace protectant, but I don't think it's better than any other specific product for a task. So I don't think so.
All right, let's see. CMAC has a question. Uninsulated, unheated garage in the Northeast. Mm-hmm. What would you do if you had a Krenslow wall mounted? So would you do anything, take extra care of it? Or?
Well, I mean, obviously, wintertime you're gonna have to drain it. So make sure what you could do, what they recommend you do is you run a little antifreeze through it. So you stick like a hose in a thing of antifreeze and it'll self-prime and blow through the antifreeze a little bit. I wouldn't even worry about that. Just make sure you run it dry and then don't in the days that it's going to be super cold, don't let it freeze because it'll crack the head really easily.
All right, let's see. Matt Jones has another question here about detailing. Matt, I'm picking up the family wagon at the weekend. Mm-hmm. Need to defunk all the dealer applied silicone spray inside. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I hate it when they do that. I think just over time, wiping it down with either Nexet Cockpit Premium or the Grio's interior cleaner, or if you use the stuff that I use, the P&S interior cleaner. I think just wiping it down in a few months, it'll get defunked. I don't like to use all-purpose cleaners and stuff. The other thing you could do, if it's really bad, is get a color lock brush and get color lock mild cleaner and use the brush. And it's okay. It seems like you're being too aggressive, but as long as you keep it off of like black plastic, meaning you don't want to scratch with the plastic, it should be pretty good.
All right, let's see. We have a super chat here from our friend Spencer out in I think he's in South Dakota, North Dakota, one of them. Matt, just got a 2010 CTS. Mm-hmm. You're going to be putting on CSL and EXO for paint. My question is, I also have some G1 and G2 for glass. Ugh. What's your take on that?
I don't like it. Yeah, it's okay, but it doesn't play well with other stuff like toppers and stuff. I found that it certainly doesn't play well with Bead Maker. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I'm a G-Tech super fan. I think Rob Earl had a heart attack when he heard me saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna get that junk off my car." I just don't like it. I mean, that's a personal preference, but I don't think it's very good.
All right, let's see. We had a question from earlier. The guy Rob in the chat. He says he's only going to polish his car once per year.
Mm-hmm.
So considering that,
That's
should
fine.
he get a Rupes Duetto or LHR 15 ES? Looking for an upgrade over his current Griot's polisher.
I don't know. I don't love the Duetto. I'd rather have the 15 ES.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Our friend Adam Gonzalez from Gonzo Detailing emailed me and said he replayed a video with the folks from Jay Leno's garage when you were building a cart for pressure washing. Wants to know, have you remained in contact with them, and are they still using the cart?
I don't know. I have to ask Chris. Yeah, I'm still in contact. Chris and Jeremy are the guys from Jay Leno's garage, detailing supplies, products. I saw him at SEMA, but that was a year and a half ago. But yeah, we're still. Let's say I don't think I've done anything to offend them, so they certainly haven't done anything to me. So I think we're still friends. So yeah, Chris and Jeremy are good dudes.
Speaking of which, someone asked earlier if you were planning on going to SEMA this year because it looks like it's back on.
Is it? Well, then I'm going. Yeah.
All right.
If I got to wear a mask, ooh, that's a tough one.
Then it's a toss-up.
I'll just not wear it as much as possible. So, and just get when the mask police come around, you pull it up real quick, and then you ask them, we still doing this? Are we still playing this game?
All right, let's see. Allie wants to know, when removing a coating, are you also removing clear coat in the process? Talked about this a little last week.
In order to get the coating off, then yeah, you're going to have to go down to the clear coat, and you're going to be removing some. Now we're talking trace amounts, but yeah, I mean, it's part of the game. Anytime you're polishing, you're generally going to be, unless you have some microscope that you're using on every square inch of it, you're likely going to have to roll through a little bit of it.
All right, let's see. Said what says, is there an OG spec spout or spigot for the 5-liter GSF jug?
Oh, no, not that I know of. It has that funky, I just pour it all over the place. Yeah. My trick is I pour it on the sponge, like before washing, right? I get the sponge out, and then that way any extra, I'm not wasting it. And I wipe up the side or the other side of the microfiber and credit pad.
All right, let's see here. We got another super chat here. Oh, I shouldn't even read this, though, from SJ. Please buy the NSX. That would be amazing content. Any updates on the NSX? We had a couple of people ask.
I'm working on it. Right now they have a $20,000 cash incentive, and then there's about another $10K in profit to dealers. And so one of the things I was considering was, well, if I could buy a new one and shoot a whole video series and do my thing, where we take delivery and paint correct it, and if I could get up to the factory, do the NSX driving experience, and if they could give me access to tour it and video it, and me and Waba could go shoot that, if we could do that, and the delta was, say, 20 grand between a used one or 25 grand between a used one and one built to my spec, I mean, that, to me, when you're that deep into it, seems like a no-brainer. And so what I'm working on, I'm working with Danny from J Wolf, who's the #1 NSX salesman and dealer in the country, and then I also have another OG follower who is helping me as well. So depending on who gets me the access on who I buy the car from, it's less about the deal than it is about the access. And so I had a conversation with the head of NSX strategy for Honda North America about what I wanted to do, and so he's looking into seeing if we can get that. What I'm looking for is authentic. I'm looking for authenticity. I'm looking for somebody, people to gain me. I don't want the Honda bullcrap. I want to do it my way, my vlog way, real life guy from his garage showing up and getting the information that we would all want, and by proxy, everybody gets to live it, and I'm willing to buy the darn car. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So I would do Novell Blue, which is the what do they forget what they call that? Whatever they call their fancy paint version, where they have a tinted clear or something like that. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm not getting it unless I can do that. Oh yeah, I can unpin that, I guess, right now. So
Yeah, that's
I think it'd be 36. Yeah, I think it would do well for the channel. I think it's different, a departure. I've always said, until you're flush with GT Porsche cars, you don't venture out into this world. You know, but I have my GT3 RS, I have my GT4, I feel good about it. Maybe someday I'll get a 992 Touring, and maybe someday I'll get a 997. But I think it's time to venture out, and the NSX makes sense to me. I have no interest in a Lamborghini. I have no negative interest in a McLaren. Piece of crap. The only thing I'd have interest in Ferrari would be a 458 Speciale, but now we're talking 2.5 times the car, and then 2.5 times the problem. So the NSX interests me, as a modern take on like the ultimate Honda Civic, basically.
All right, let's see. Jeff G says, "How is the Mosmetic undercarriage sprayer selling through? Anyone paying $633 for that thing?" So I looked it up. We've sold 79 of them so far, so we'll be ordering more soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's T304 stainless. It's got, they're building them, in Switzerland. It's not some, Chinese. It's not a Chinese. Not that all Chinese products are bad, but it's not a Chinese contract manufactured or sourced product. This is a design. This has been in Jamie from Mosmatic. This has been in his head for a decade. He's been in pressure washing his whole life, mainly in like professional pressure washing, and so he talked me into it. I didn't want it. I didn't want anything to do with it. But it's, for what it does, both and we're using it with little baby electric pressure washers. It's as good as you can get. And and I told them, you build it to what it needs to be, not to what you want it to be priced at. The Ryobi is built to a price point. It's just a Chinese thing that they said, all right, it's got to be $50. This is built to what it needs to be, and then we back in the pricing. What do the materials cost? What is the labor cost? What is my margin? And that's what it ends up being, whatever, $500.
All right, Epiphany Detailing has a question here. This comes up fairly often. I know rubber floor mats aren't needed in Florida, but up north they're great for the winter. Do you have any plans to add a mat and liner cleaner? I recently got Adam's mat and liner cleaner, and he really likes it.
I didn't even know you would need anything different. I would just spray some Green Star on there and brush it off, or just use GSF. It's probably just soap, so I would think that there's nothing special to it.
All right, let's see. Our buddy William Wallace wants to know. He says, "I'm really interested in hearing what you find out about the E36M floor mats. I, too, received Tiny Town floor mats from ECS. Something has changed."
We just sent them back. Yeah,
Yep,
the whole batch is bad. It's weird that they keep sending them out. I ordered a set of Lux. What are they? They're not Lux. Lux is the style. It's
like a name, Lloyd something.
Lloyd's, yeah. I know they're like Corvette floor mats, but they make supposedly for E36. So I ordered just to hold me over until I can figure out what to do. The other thing that might be an option is getting just base E36 BMW mats. I don't know. So I'm working on it. We'll figure it out.
All right, let's see. Invasion HD says, "Hey, Obsessed Garage, when restoring headlamps, what's a good coating for headlights that I don't need to spray on, and how long will it last?"
I mean, if you're going to restore headlights, you need to clear them. So you need to get 2K clear. Go watch what's Brandon's channel?
Shifted Perspective?
Yeah. Go to Shifted Perspective on YouTube. That's Brandon Boychuk. And just hit the little magnifying glass on that channel and search headlight restoration. He does his E39 M5, I believe. But he did it wrong and then did it right. He used Mike Figueroa's method on sanding and doing clear, you get 2K clear, and then you would coat it using just CSL is what I would do. So that's the way to do it if you want it to last and look as good as possible.
All right, let's see. We have a super chat here from our buddy Yoshi. His advice at SEMA: carry around a bottle of water and act like you're drinking it the whole time. Therefore, you don't have to wear a mask.
Yep, that's
Staying hydrated is key.
Yeah, that was my method on the plane. Is I bring a bunch of Cheez-Its and eat one Cheez-It every time anybody looks at you. Just hold it there. I even thought about taping it to my shirt. That way it looked like I was. So you're gonna get tired of holding it eventually, and you just put one in your mouth. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. So it's I don't need to get into it, but it's unless everybody has the thing sealed around their face 24/7 from the moment they walk in the plane. It's useless. It's useless even when it is because it's freaking stupid. So stupid.
All right, here's a good question for you that I think we can address now. LR says, which coating do you recommend for a new set of wheels that will be seeing track use? Not sure if the temperatures will make a difference.
We're transitioning back to CarPro Deluxe, so I'm going to coat I'll do it maybe this weekend or the next week. I'll be coating the style 28M wheels or whatever they're 29M or something with Deluxe and Gliss. So I'm going to be doing that combo. So I'll show you that. We have it in the store already. I think it's up there.
In the store.
But I think that's what you want. I called my friend Bradley Nielsen and said, look, I haven't used I need a wheel coating. I need like a dedicated wheel coating because not everybody has these show cars like I have. And CSL XO doesn't last very long if you're driving around every day. You'd have to do it every 6 months or so. And so I need something that will work a little better. And he's like, yeah, it's the slim pickings here. He says, what we do is generally CarPro Deluxe with topped with Gliss. So that's what we're going to do. Get out of here.
All right, Greg Hansel asks, we mentioned this last week. He says, when do we get to see the Tesla wheels?
It's bad. I tried. I failed. I haven't even put them on yet. You'll see them shortly as soon as the car gets back from Jose, who has it down in St. Cloud. He's, basically rebuilding the crappy Artisan Spirits. I hate calling it a body kit. It's not really a body kit. Front lip, rear diffuser, and side thingies. What are those things called? Side blades, side skirts. Thank you. So when that comes back, then we'll put the wheels on and have it aligned, and then immediately take the wheels off, send them back to get refinished because it was a terrible, terrible move. I tried something and I failed. As soon as I opened the box, I knew. I went wrong. Oh, what
They don't look like you.
I tried to get a little. Anyway, you guys will see. So in a week or two.
All right, let's see. J Rod's Garage. Jared on Instagram says. He has two questions. Just got a 2018 Audi S5.
Mm-hmm.
The car has perforated leather seats, but there are little flecks of dirt or sand in some of the perforations.
Mm-hmm.
Tried vacuuming them out, but doesn't seem to want to come out. Any tips on that?
Yeah, just poke like what I used to use, like a little speaker wire grill pick, like a you could use a toothpick, yeah. But yeah, a little tiny speaker grill pick, and that's what I would use. Just kind of poke it through, and you just push it into the seat and hope someday it comes out. If it doesn't, out of sight.
Let's see. He also found a faint scratch on the climate control screen. Any advice on what to use on those plastic screens to maybe buff it out?
No, don't mess with it. You're just going to make it worse, I think I just leave it alone and pretend you can't see it.
All right, let's see. Another Canadian here reaching out. He says, hello from Canada Flag.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, do you ever use paint thickness measuring device like an alcometer before correcting a finish, especially in an older vehicle like the E36? I'm not a pro detailer, just really enjoy detailing our rides. Thank you.
Yeah, I've ranted on this before, but I'm sort of torn because yes, it can give you a guide, right? In that it gives you a guide on if something's been repainted because one panel is 7 mils and the next panel is 2 mils, and the next panel is 2 mils, and the next panel is 2 mils, and you know that 7 mil was probably painted differently or repainted or something like that. It has Bondo or something like that. The thing I struggle with all of those meters is that gloss meters and depth gauge meters is that you put it in one spot and it gives you a reading, and you put it back in the same spot and it gives you a different reading. You put it back in the same spot and it gives you a different reading. The argument is, well, that spot wasn't exactly the same spot. It's just, I love that kind of stuff. I should get one. I've been saying that for freaking 10 years. I just don't think having like a little handheld guy is all that useful. The problem is you don't know what it's telling you. You don't know what coat is what. Is 60% of that clear? Is 20% of it clear? But it certainly can't hurt to have one, but I think they're kind of dumb in general, especially the cheap ones. I mean, the accuracy is so far off that, the gloss meters are kind of a joke. I wanted a gloss meter so badly. You guys doing tests on using the freaking gloss meter, showing, well, this wax is way glossier than that wax. It'd give me a break. On a $100 freaking meter from Amazon. The freaking $5,000 ones and the $50,000 ones that they use in factories, they don't really work. So, yeah.
All right, let's see. Our friend Jose with the Tesla chimed in, says next week. That's what.
Shoot, he's a machine. I like him. Tell me if he doesn't jack it up, then I want him to paint the front bumper on the E36, I think. So.
All right, let's see. JR says he's itching to see a new truck build. Any upgrade plan for a new truck for Michelle in the future?
Nah,
Gen 3 Raptor, TRX, etc.
Is there a Gen 3 Raptor?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Not on the current docket.
She likes that thing. It's a good truck.
Yeah, it's got 110,000 miles or 108,000 miles on it or something like that.
All right, let's see. Nick Neal asked a question here on Facebook. Have you ever considered the Festool line of vacuums and dust extractors? I've heard great things about them.
Yeah, they've been on my short list from the beginning and since vacuum. So my thought process with vacuums would be low-end shop vac, right? So I'd deal with shop vac. So basic would be the shop vac stuff. Then we'd have intermediate, which would be probably Festool or something like that. And then we'd have like Eurovac or Delphin or one of these other high-end solutions where you install some 220 volt or 240 volt solution. And so we're gonna get a hold of all the Festool stuff, and I'll do what I do. I'm gonna buy every one of them and then figure out which one I like, and then we'll pick 2 or 3 of them that make sense, and then develop a whole line for it, and we'll be stuck with what hoses they make, and then we'll find new hoses. And so I think that vacuums will probably be as big as pressure washing is for us. We'll sell millions of dollars of vacuums, so I'm working on it.
All right, let's see here.
So I've gotten started. I caught the bug for it because I need one in my garage, and so that motivates me to chase it. So we're on it.
Let's see.
Finally, so this one's real. It's not on the short list anymore. It's on the active list.
Okay.
That's a big difference. Big difference between short list and active list.
Lots of people wondering about vacuums. E46 M3 on Instagram says, Matt, when are you going to install Waba's Carbonius intake? You're neglecting him and his E46 M3. People demand E46 M3.
It's not my fault. His car is up at his Rex is for Infinity.
So there you go, E46 M3.
I was ready to do it, and then I thought it was like a 15-minute deal, and then it was like a multi-day deal.
Oh, Michelle M in the chat here from Lady Lake says, I want to vacuum. Lots of exclamation points. Can't wait. So she's excited. That's good. All right, here's our friend Dallas on Instagram, Canadian, looking for cheaper prices always. If you get OG Canada going, will Sabre drop in price for us up here as you could ship from overseas straight to Canada?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's not looking so good for Sabre at the moment. They keep jacking with the prices, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be ripping them out of my garage or something. So, but that's the plan. That is the plan for sure.
All right, your buddy Mike, who was just down here, says, ask Matt if you finished the broccoli. Did you finish the broccoli?
No.
Did you start the broccoli?
No.
That's the better question.
No. I don't even look at the broccoli.
Oh, that's bad. Matt Duffy says, do you have any thoughts on experience on the Dr. Beasley's car sense and longevity? I do.
We just got it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does it last?
No.
Okay.
I sprayed it in my truck.
So you mean I bought $8,000 worth of scents, and now you're going to tell me it's no good?
It lasts as long, we can say, as the Eden Bliss.
I think all car scents are pretty much that, So yeah, we had to buy a bunch of stuff to get, because I wanted to have the Matt Care line here, because I'm always sending people over there. I'm like, why don't I just get it? And so we'll have the whole Dr. Beasley's Matt Care line, and I'm like, ooh, they got all these cucumber scents and all this other funky stuff. So it's okay, but it's just like the Griot scent. It's just like the last a day.
The good thing is that means you can try one day and try another one the next day. You just go through them all.
Yeah.
Cucumber is my favorite. It smells nothing like cucumber. It's good. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question. We went through this, I think, when Adam LZ was here last time. What products or process do you recommend for debadging a car that is not brand new?
It's really no different. You just get yourself a heat gun. That's helpful, even though I always end up get the heat gun out. I never end up really using it. Fishing line, get some like Stren 10-pound test, and slide it under there and pull, and then your emblem will come off. Hopefully, you can get it without using the fishing line, because the fishing line a lot of times will scratch the paint. And then use Koch Chemie Ulex sparingly, but use Ulex and it'll melt it away. And then once you get it off, then get your polisher out, your 3-inch polisher, polish it up. You're going to want to compound it with Jescar correction compound and a microfiber cutting pad from Meguiar's, and then finish with a yellow pad and perfect finish, and then wax it, coat it, whatever you're going to do.
All right, let's see. LR here in the chat says, I emailed Matt a while ago, and he got me linked up with his colleague, Mr. Barry. I want to extend a tremendous thank you. So,
oh, good.
Tremendous thank you.
I wish I had me to send people to when I was a financial advisor. Yeah, he's good. I mean, he was one of the guys who taught me when I was starting out, and so he's I think he was like maybe 6 or 7 years ahead of me, something like that. And then, so I told him, he emailed me, I got to do a freaking review. And I was just like, no, I don't want to do a review. No reviews. I don't want to talk about it. I gave it to you, so I don't have to deal with it. I don't have anything to do with it. There's the war. People always jerking around with their money like they know anything. Just give it to the guy and say, don't email me. Don't call me. I'm not going to look at it. I don't even know how much money I have in there. I have no idea.
Roughly. Some to my account.
Huh?
We transferred some to my
I have a rough idea what's there, but from a month to month, I don't know. I don't open the statements. I don't care. That's part of my whole deal. When I say I don't give a crap about money, it's freaking true. It's true. It's probably a good thing I don't do that anymore. I like the idea. What I liked about money was the cleanup of it, taking somebody with a mess and then reorganizing it for them. I didn't like the ongoing douche service when you freaking morons calling you all the time. Oh, what are we gonna do? Should I be getting this NFT? I can't even imagine dealing with that now. We gotta get some AMC. You gotta get some what's old GameStop at these days?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
It's probably a little lower than it was.
I don't know. It's bounced back a couple of times. It's a freaking joke.
We have a super chat here while you're looking that up. From John Z.
It's still $175 a share. It's a $12 billion market cap for a garbage company that has no prayer. Oh my gosh, it's so stupid.
All right, super chat. John Z, $4.99. Mm-hmm. Matt, yesterday I was eating a shredded lettuce sandwich while installing my new Kinkaslink hose. The OG fitting I bought is leaking. Can I call you?
Oh my gosh, I'll freaking murder you.
Pretty good, John. Let's
so
see.
Right after the podcast. So, there's something rude. This is inside news. What's it called? It's called The Lift, I think. What's it called? So there's a new bike lift that somebody shared to me. It's
bike lift. So you can work on your bike, or so you can
so you can store it. I mean, I guess you could use it. Top Shelf, the lift. So go look this up. The Lift by Top Shelf on Instagram, and they have a Kickstarter going. And it's the freaking coolest thing ever. It's just like the lifts that I have for like the the stair lift that I have and all that stuff now. So
they're 56% funded.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make them 156% funded because this thing's freaking awesome.
Interesting. All right, so bike nerds out there unite. And
So this is so he's gonna come here. He called me the other day. And he's going to come here, and we're going to do as soon as he gets the first ones, we're going to put them in my garage and shoot a whole video and talk about it, and we're going to have it in the store. They're like $400 or $500, I think, but it's a motorized lift for your bicycles to get them up toward the ceiling out of the way. But here's the coolest part about it is it uses your bike rack as the lift. So it has a trailer hitch. What size of trailer hitch is 2-inch or 2 and whatever? Yeah, 2 and 5/8 or whatever the heck it is. So it has your trailer hitch size, and then you take your 1-up or your 2-Li or whatever bike lift, or a bike rack, and you just plug it in. So now I don't have to store my bike rack anywhere, and I have a lift. It's freaking awesome.
That's pretty cool.
And then for all you nerd dads out there who want to put your storage bins up somewhere, you can do that too. They have a storage bin rack for nerds. And all your dorky crap that you need to be throwing away.
There you go.
So I'm gonna be the some guy. Something about. You made the best comment I've seen in a while. It said something about Matt versus his family still undefeated. Meaning throw stuff away.
All right, let's see. A couple folks were asking about Matt Moreland, if he was still in trouble with the HOA or.
Yeah, it's funny. So Perry, our new star electrician, he's buddies with the Lake County guy, the county inspector guy. And so this is just like Raymond James, right? Everybody was a fan, but yet they still couldn't let me get away with it. And so they're all watching the videos at the Lake County Building Department. So all this trash I've been talking, luckily most of the trash I've been talking has been inside the hex. So all this trash I've been talking, they've been watching. So now they know everything. So he's like, we got to pin the door. I got to do all this extra bull crap because now I told everybody how to get me.
Yep. They're going to be at your house every day.
I know.
They're probably watching right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now they're watching the live streams waiting to catch me slipping.
Hey there.
They don't want to but now they know. It's like these people generally have like a pretty strong conscience. Like they can't, if they see something, they can't let it go. Because then you're corrupt. And so now they've seen it, and now they can't let it go. And so now I'm having to get a permit for the door, and have to redo some pin the door or some bull crap. So tell me this, people. There's a door. It's a block. It's all framed out, right? It's not framed out. It's blocked. They put a hole in the wall. It's engineered into the house. So then what we did, the contractor came, and they put some blocks in the wall, and then they did mortar, the things they do with bricks. When you put bricks and mortar together, what does it do? It turns into concrete. It's hard. And so that's not good. I need an engineer. I need to get an engineer, because what could happen, Chris, is those blocks could fall out. There's stucco over it. There's cabinets bolted to it. The whole house will fall down, and that doorway is still going to be there. The door, what used to be a doorway. And I need to tear apart the stucco. We need to put some pins in or some bull crap. And I need to hire an engineer to fix a door in it's my house. It's not your house. It's mine. Don't tell me what I can't do. Oh, Matt, we're just trying to keep you safe. I don't want to be safe. How about that? I want to take the risk that I'm standing on the back right side of my house where there's nothing there. There'd be no reason to go there. And take the chance that there's a 100-mile-per-hour windstorm and that magically the door falls out on me. Like, what's going to happen? It's going to have to rip the cabinet's going to have to come with it, the drywall, the furring strips, the Cat 6. There's enough Cat 6 wires through that wall to hold the wall up by itself. So stupid. Oh, but we've got to, you got to get an engineer. What do I need? The doorway is the part that is risky. Well, the doorway was okay. Now there's no doorway. There's bricks. There's freaking concrete. It's stuccoed together. Well, it could be, it could fall out. It's nonsense. It's about as rational as wearing a mask. It's freaking stupid. God dang it. I hate stuff that makes no sense. Just because somebody said so. And this doorway is the whole reason why I will never, ever buy a condo. Michelle was looking at condos. And what's that place called? Hammock Beach or some bull crap. And I'm like, I'm not joining communism. I've already got communism in my freaking HOA. The only way I'm joining communism is if I'm the dictator. That's the only way. It's the only way it's going to work for me. Otherwise, I'm going to kill the dictator. I'm going to end up getting in a fist fight with the homeowners people. And you know who's going to win? Me versus an 80-year-old man. Give me a break.
That's on inside the hex only. That's good.
You got to get an engineer. You got to get an engineer, put a new faucet in. Wait till they find out I put these fans in. You'll be like, oh, I don't know, these fans aren't up to code. Did you get a permit for that? To put two wires together with an electrician? The guy's been doing it his whole life. Get out of here. How about it's my house? I'm going to do whatever I want. I understand if you're going to paint it purple or something stupid. By the way, there are a couple of purple houses in the neighborhood. There's a lot of yard gnomes. I already talked about this. One guy has a freaking 10-foot statue of a bull in his front yard and an eagle and a llama. And he has 10 giant statues, and they're positioned throughout. And they're worried about me pinning my door.
It's good stuff.
So that's what I'm in trouble with these people. So I've got 10 days to comply. What are you going to do if I don't do it? Am I going to go to jail?
We'll find out.
I don't have 10 days is not enough time. I got to find an engineer. I'm an engineer. Here, I'm going to sign off on it. I'm going to just walk in with my diploma. How's that sound? I'm going to walk into the office. Here's your engineer. What do you want? Tell me what you want. It's done. I'll draw it on this napkin right now. This door, block. This door, unsafe. Now there's block, safe. Give me where's their stamp? Give me a seal. I'll stamp it. I'll use one of Kate's stamps.
That's good stuff. All right, so let's get a couple super chats here that have come up since the rant began. Where'd it go?
How does this happen? This wasn't even part of the plan of this podcast, and now it's kind of the thing.
We were talking about.
Is this a thing? I just go nuts
about
I would yell louder if the thing didn't clip on me. I'm going to need a special. We're going to need to have a board where Bryce is jockeying some stuff around when he sees my face turn red.
All right, so Christian Farmer has a super chat here for $9.99.
Yep.
I'm down in Stuart, Florida.
Yep.
Minutes away from Auto Geek.
Mm-hmm.
However, your content, straightforward approach, and personality, and, as shown today, your rants, make me buy from you. Keep it up, guys. Don't be a loser.
I like that. Yeah, I appreciate that. I would do the same thing. That's been my guess, my gamble from the beginning was that other people would do it like I would do it, which is, hey, this is the guy that is kind of helped me out, and he's, as long as it's reasonable and I don't have to work too hard to help him out, I would do that. And in many cases where, what happened to Amazon Prime? Now it's order something, get it in 5 days, and they just snuck it by everybody. How did that happen?
Sometimes it's longer than 2 days. I don't know how that.
No, it's not 2 days. It's 5 days or more. What happened to Amazon Prime? They sneakily just. They let the pandemic change it. Now they're like, sweet, we'll just ship. There's no longer 2 days. We'll get it whenever you get it. So we're way faster than that as long as we have it. I like to take people's money and hold on to it and scam them. That's my thing.
Michelle M. checking in again. She says all she wants is space to put her fishing poles. That's all she wants in life.
Yeah, it's called the attic. It's perfect. I had it figured out. I even got her steps to come down. She doesn't like to plan ahead.
David says, greetings from Scotland. Hey, thanks, David. DE10 says, Canadian. I guess he's from Canada here. Canadians get screwed. Products like Tool Grid get made in Canada, sent to distributors in the U.S.
I know, it's dumb, yeah. Well, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix it. Just give me a little bit of time.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're not working on it yet, but we have a plan for when we're going to work on it. We're going to be there, and we're going to be freaking awesome.
Just leave Canada.
We'll start screwing you in Canada.
Oh, man. Can't wait for my kids to learn about Moreland versus HOA in their Florida history class. Moreland conquers HOA while planting bonsai trees.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with people? Everybody knew this. I knew it, but I didn't believe it.
Our friend Chris Kim says, everyone playing the Matty Rant drinking game, take a shot. Those people are dead now. Paint a door on the outside of your house. That's a good suggestion there. Super chat here from our friend Manny, who's coming to work here soon. Let's see. Thanks, guys, for the car carrier info. I sent him that the other night. Reliable Carriers quoted him $1,300 to get his car from New Jersey down here. Seems reasonable? What do you think?
Yeah, that's about right. They're enclosed. They don't go direct usually, so it'll probably go to a holding place or something. Sometimes it goes direct, sometimes it doesn't. But they're always a lot quicker than they say. It's an under-promise, over-deliver thing. But yeah, reliable's good. I mean, I'm sure there's some boutique ones that are better, but they're pretty much the best.
All right, let's see. Yoshi has a super chat, $5. Remember the time Matt bought a building and it didn't have plumbing? Yes, I remember that. If only there was an HOA there that had gotten it right, I guess.
Yeah.
Our friend Brian, the engineer out in California, says, ask the guy if he wants a letter from a registered engineer. They say yes. I go in and write them a letter. There you go.
I think that's what they need. I don't know what they need.
Nicholas says, put a giant hex sculpture in the drain field. That's a good idea. Right there next to the bowl.
Yeah, and I got the bill, $9,800
for your drain field.
So the company that did the drain field wrong is the company that fixed it, and so you think
that's funny.
You think that they wouldn't try to rape me. I'm not supposed to use that word. You would think they wouldn't try to take advantage of me. Sorry, Michelle. Sorry to the world. You would think they wouldn't try to take advantage. And I don't think they're taking advantage, but they're doing a full profit deal. They should they have the excavator come and drop the wood. They're guaranteed they're marking up the loads of dirt. Don't mark it up. Give it to me at cost. You're the ones who screwed it up in the first place. I thought I was being nice by not suing them like everybody else. We got this crazy lady coming over, and she's like trying to convince us to get in the lawsuit. I'm like, I don't want it. I don't got time for that. I don't know. They're like, and it's so funny. And then I'm like, if we can just put our name in, and I don't know, what are we gonna get? We put our name in, but I'm not showing up for anything. No one's coming over here. And you're like, yeah. And then 2 days later, we get the call. Hey, we need to schedule our consultation for you to come into the office. I'm like, get out of here. We're out. Take your number off your. I'm not doing it. We got time for that. We got to grind off my steering knuckle and for my E36. Get it on camera. So.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Speaking of that, speaking of the HOA, which roll-up garage door brand did you decide on?
T-Max.
And what's the timeline on that? Does that go?
I don't know.
Yeah. Those are weeks out, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping soon.
All right, let's see here. Peter wants to know from Instagram, if you couldn't own Porsches or BMWs, what brand would be next, and what current models would you be excited about? Outside of Hyundai?
Well, there are no current models other than the NSX and that's it. And the new GT3s that I would care about. I'm no interest in any of the BMWs. Yeah, I don't know, man. Luckily, I don't live in that world. Wouldn't be Lexus. Certainly wouldn't be Mercedes. Yeah, I don't know. There isn't anything. Luckily, I don't have to make that decision because there's no other option.
Let's see. MDP has a good idea here. Can we monitor Matt's blood pressure throughout the podcast?
No, I'd probably pass out if I...
Uh-oh. No, you've triggered Michelle M. in the chat.
What's she saying?
I could totally rant about this concept of fishing poles in the attic, yet there is a drawer and easy access for every tool that he's never going to use.
So how much money do fishing poles make the family? How much money do those drawers filled with tools make for the family? End of debate.
That's funny.
Do not debate me on this.
Let's see. ART on Instagram, our level. Would you take your GT4 over the 991.1 GT3?
No. Yeah, never over a GT3.
All right, Mason wants to know, hey, Matt and Chris, curious what each of your first cars were.
1988 Pontiac Sunfire GT, 1.8 liter turbo. It's junk. It couldn't only go one place. If I went to the second place, it would overheat in the middle of the road.
It's funny. I had a 1988 Dodge Ram 50 pickup truck. No AC, no power steering, no power anything. It was awesome. No girlfriend either, coincidentally enough. Jess has a good businessy kind of question for you. Hey, Matt, before you had employees to delegate work to, how did you tell when you were wasting time on something, and how did you pull yourself out of time wasters and distractions to stay focused?
I'm not really a time waste kind of guy. You know, the things I like to do are rather productive. So wasting time for me is shopping for something, right? But I figured out how to turn that time waste, that desire, into value. And so for years, Michelle would always be like, well, I'm wasting time. But the only thing that kind of wastes time is like if I want to just lay around and watch like March Madness all day or something. But even that sometimes has value, especially if you're relatively motivated the rest of the time. Sometimes there's value in shutting down because then you can become more productive. One of the things that I think is going to be important for me in the future here is that, it's one of the things I'm going to test out. But whatever office I end up with here is going to have a couch so that I can take a nap in the middle of the day. And then I can stay because I want to go till 9 o'clock every night, just 10 o'clock, just keep going, keep doing. Maybe we'll implement an obsessed garage siesta every day. What do you think?
1 to 3.
Think I'll get more work out of everybody? Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. And then everybody works till 10 p.m. every night.
We'll look into that.
I think everybody would choose the no nap and get the heck out of here.
Lots of support for Michelle in the chat here. She says it isn't about money with lots of exclamation points. Michelle's about to lay down the law, blah, blah, blah. We need another Michelle eating Chick-fil-A in the M3 video. Yeah, that was a good
Every single time, 100% of the time that they go fishing, for some reason there needs to be a complete fishing pole overhaul. Because every single time when they get tired, they just throw them all in a pile somewhere, and then there has to be like a 2-hour overhaul of them to get them to work again.
There you go.
If we had like one amazing fishing pole, I might find a spot for it. But no, we've got 37 broken ones that always need to be fixed. I'm not doing that.
Let's see. Kevin on Facebook says, if Matt had $85,000 to spend on a car, which one would he purchase? I've decided in life I need a car that makes noise.
E46 M3.
I'd still like to use it as a daily driving vehicle. I'm not an expert on the variety in the market.
Yeah, so. E92 M3, E40. You have to buy an old used car. A Supra would be cool for that, if you don't mind not getting a manual, because you could buy it for what are they, 60, and then put 20 grand worth of cool parts on it. So that's what I would do. I don't think there really is an $85,000 car that I would want. I wouldn't want a new M3. So I'd want something. The only new car that I think would be kind of cool would be a Supra. But again, that's a automatic, or I don't even think it's a dual clutch. I think it is an automatic.
All right, here's a humorous question from Craig. Matt, now that you've tramp stamped a Porsche, what's the timetable for the OG curated garage art and tchotchkes? Should we start sending you bobbleheads?
Yeah, and I see the Griot's Garage at the end of the catalog. They had all this like the Brembo clock and the the Nürburgring magnets and all the tchotchkes. Yeah, I'm not into that. I'm sure that the guys over there will sneak it in though when I'm not looking. They'll sneak in some more tchotchkes. Next thing you know, we have a whole tchotchkes section of the
website.
Yeah,
it's hidden. You can't see it on the front page.
Pieces of flair. You gotta have pieces of flair in your garage, like 800 pieces of flair. I gotta take a picture of the man cave guy. He has the gear wrench, says man cave. It has like the wrench and then man cave in the middle, and it's like hanging from the slightly off center.
Oh, that's your neighbor guy?
Yeah. It's like a little 2-car garage. It's got so much crap in there. It's unbelievable. It's not a square inch of wall available. I think you could measure. I think the value of a garage should be determined by the amount of free wall space without anything on it. That could be like there'd be a rating system, and you'd get like coins or something, you get Pokemon cards or something for you get a ranking, a CP score. I'm gonna create that garage CP score. I bet you that could be something we could come up with. So we're the judges, and people get a score for the garage. And when you make improvements, you can resubmit, and we give you a CP. And so, if my garage has the highest CP count, I mean, who would get the highest CP count? Let's say it's 5,000 is the max you could have, and I would guess that most people's garages get like CP of 3. Just too many tchotchkes. You can have like a tchotchke shelf, but that's about it.
Just one shelf.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Joey wants to know, what's the harshest chemical the press all household sprayers will hold up to? Just purchased the OG labels for my bottles, and man, are they legit.
Yeah, the labels we're still fighting with, so I keep getting bubbles in mine. It drives me crazy. We got to work on the adhesive. The adhesive we have is like professional grade. It's like what you would do if you had like a what do they call it? They like heat treat them. So each bottle, these labels are designed for like in a line where when you heat treat the bottle, then it goes on. Well, I don't know if maybe you're going to try like an acetylene torch or something to, heat treat it. I don't know. It drives me crazy. So we're working on it. Just like the bottles will take several iterations, the labels are going to take several iterations. But for the time being, it's freaking $35, whatever. You're in it this deep anyway. Buy $35, you have the labels for a while, and then rip them off and do some new ones when we get the better ones. Is the way I would do it. So,
speaking of that, ACAC in the chat here earlier said, "Happy Friday, OG. Do you happen to have an ETA on black/gray version of OG press-all labels? As a side note, we needed an updated OG Hex logo iOS wallpaper for iPhone 12 Pro Max."
I don't know anything about any of that.
No.
You know anything about any of that?
No, but maybe
I'm
Bryce
sure,
will listen and do something.
I'm sure Bryce is working on it. It's on the list.
It's on the short list.
It's on the active list or if it's on the short list.
It's on the short list.
Ugh, I wonder. Let's move it up to the active list. Anything that isn't on my list should be on the active list.
Let's see here from Adam. I'm seeing a few detailers using small air compressors to apply wheel coatings.
Yeah, you want to dye?
Yeah. Could you explain this process, and would you ever consider using it?
No, I would never do that. It's a little bit more efficient, I guess. If they're using a airbrush, so it needs to be finely atomized, but you better have full PPE. Better have full eye sealing eye protection. And I mean, I'm not like a chemical freak or scaredy, but that seems like death to me.
Just wear a mask.
Yeah, I think you need to cover up everything: ears, nose, eyes. Make sure that gloves. Probably wear a suit. I just don't think you want that stuff like really fine atomization of that. I wouldn't want to mess with that. But it saves you from having to go in all the cracks and crevices and all that.
Let's see. Warwick Bell wants to know, have you looked into in-ground scissor lifts? Is that on the short list? Or?
All scissor lifts can be in-ground. You just have to cut a hole in the ground. They're cool. A lot of the deeper stuff, it's kind of hard to get approvals to do that. Like when you do like those pistons that go down to the ground, they need like a 6-foot hole or something. Yeah. But we'll be putting mine in ground at my house.
Henry wants to know, hey Matt, where do you draw the line for working on your own car? Would you say maintenance and modifications, or could you see yourself stripping and rebuilding an engine?
No. Yeah, I draw the line at bolting. If it has bolts, I'm good. If it doesn't, I'm out. Even sometimes if it has bolts, I don't want to do it. I'm not doing the power steering or the cooling system on the E36. But I'm grinding away at the steering knuckle for the brakes. So, I don't know. I couldn't really answer. It depends on what mood I'm in at that moment and how easily I can get somebody to do it. For me, a lot of it is I don't want to go anywhere. And so if no one comes to me, then I'm going to do it myself.
Neil here in the chat says, hey Matt, any plans to sell the Milwaukee cordless hand chainsaw?
Probably not. It's not really a garage thing, but who knows, maybe. I don't think so.
All right, let's see from the chat. Here's our buddy Brian with an engineering question for you. Let's see if this makes sense to you.
I don't want to do that.
He's getting very technical about your leach field.
Okay.
Why didn't you install seepage pits rather than those infiltrators in your leach field? Was the water table too high?
I have no idea. I just do what they told me. Yeah, I'm not sure.
We have a +1 here from Jared for Canadian distribution. Yeah, Jared, that's on the short list.
Yep.
Richard wants to know, hey, Matt, in a parallel universe, maybe you were offered the choice of working for a car manufacturer. What position would be your ideal one?
I'd be in, strategy and sales of some sort. I'd probably be running, a team or a division of, of the company having to do with technical sales. I probably wouldn't be in any kind of product development. They're just not a good enough engineer for that. But I would be like a like a Anders Preuninger type, where I'd have vision. Like that's what I do now is I'd have a vision and I'd know how to sell it, and I would need somebody smarter than me to build it. And so I think that's what I would probably be, some sort of executive inside of the sales division of the company, technical sales, not so much and I would be the voice of reason for the other douchey, people that didn't know about the stuff, and I would only work for something I wanted to buy. You don't to build stuff you'd want to buy. So many people sell their soul, and then they have a miserable existence because they're just doing a job to make the money. But yeah, I would be one. Again, Anders Preuninger comes to mind, that you would have somebody who is passionate about what he's actually making and likes what he's making and wants to buy it, wants to own it.
Hey, Matt, as a mobile detailer, I search for ways to waste less time pulling out equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of manually winding up a hose, do you know if the 50-foot Cobra Jet hose would fit on the Cox Easy Coil Air Reel?
They make a retracting. A retracting high pressure reel. It's just the problem with those. I mean, a 50-foot's okay because you could walk it in and manage it. It's just you can't just let it go. You'd have to walk it in and because it's a single wire or 2-wire, not very pliable pressure washer hose. That's why I don't like retractable reels for high pressure. Whereas an air hose is quite a bit more pliable. There's nothing inside. There's no reinforcement. And so it can suck it back in the reel and do a reasonably decent job. But when you're talking about hydraulic lines, or you're talking about high pressure, pressure washer line or hoses, it's just half the time you got to pull it back out because it winds it straight and then it gets stuck. And so you would have to wind it in by hand. And if you're going to do that, why not save the money and have a more manageable crank reel? That's my suggestion. So that's why I don't have a retractable reel.
All right, we have a question here from Reasonable Paul on Instagram. He says, "Hey Matt, I'm in desperate need of some Matty life advice."
Okay,
that's bad news for you, Paul. Does Michelle give you crap about working on 77 things at once? Also, other than the keyboard warriors, do your friends and/or family members give you crap about overdoing things? I find it very draining when people ask me why I overdo things. Do you ever feel that way? If so, how do you deal with it?
No, Michelle is always she's super supportive about that, and she doesn't understand how I never write anything down. I'm always juggling it and making it happen, just all in my head. That's probably part of the reason why I'm crazy and have problems at times. But no, she doesn't care enough. Like if she was like me, she'd be yelling at me all the time, but she's not. So she doesn't care. So as long as I'm not bothering her, she doesn't care. And no one else. I'm not the kind of guy, for whatever reason, I give off the vibe that you don't get that opportunity with me. Do you feel like you could come to me and say, no, you don't do it? I'm just not that guy. I'm not a guy that anyone would. Maybe people don't care about me enough to really go there, but I'm just not. My personality doesn't lend itself, doesn't open the door to say, hey, what do you think? Unless I, seek that from, family and friends and things like that. And, and before Obsessed Garage, I used to get a lot of heat from Michelle's side of the family saying, they were brought up there. I hate it when people say we were raised to do whatever. I said, just because you're raised to do it doesn't mean it's right. They talking about money and prices of things. I mean, to me, it's a fact. It's something that you need to know to make an educated decision. And to some people, you see it all the time when people make negative comments about, what are you always saying the price? They're trying to sound rich or something, or trying to make everybody sound lesser than. And I don't think anyone could ever say, unless you're just so virtuous that you're looking out for the little guy. But anybody who ever says something to the effect of, the only reason you're talking about the money is to look down on people is because they feel insecure about it. They feel looked down upon, which is something people make up because none of that matters to me at all. None of that occurs or has anything that, like, if I'm going to buy an NSX and I have the means to do it, it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean like I'm better than or somebody else is worse than. It doesn't occur to me. I just want it. Here's what it cost. Why wouldn't I tell you what it costs? You can look it up anyway. Because the other thing that baffles me with most people that I just cannot relate to is, let's say you said to me, hey Matt, you're interested in the Dynaudio speaker line, or hey Matt, you like this Dynaudio speaker line. I was looking at this and that, but what do you think? What should I be looking at? And if I said to you, well, I like the Focus HDs, what would you do? What would you be doing immedially?
Researching the Focus HD.
I'd be like Googling it before the D came out of my mouth. So as soon as I say HD, boom, you'll be looking it up. But most people apparently can't do that. They don't know how to do that. And so you have to like give them the whole thing. And I'm kind of glad that giving the entire answer is something that that people need, because that's where I make a bunch of money, because people don't want to figure it out. So I don't even know where I'm going with that, but that's something that drives me crazy. So friends and family I don't give a crap what they think, so they don't ever tell me. So they just get a kick out of the craziness.
Yeah, we just stand back and watch.
Yeah, it's like, sure, go for it, bro. We're not doing that, and I do the same thing with them. You do what you want, and as long as you're not wiping your dirty feet on my carpet, I don't care what you do. And I even care less about that now. Just buy a new carpet. Then I'll get in trouble for telling you how much the carpet was.
Let's see. From Dave S. in the chat here. Hey, Matt, made my first 2 purchases from OG to completely overhaul my car cleaning setup. Really appreciate your process. The active package is awesome, by the way. Nice.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's pretty good. Now, once again, an FRS is pretty good. Toyota FRS, or was it Subaru, whichever. A Scion.
I don't know what that is.
Or let me give you something you would know. A WRX is pretty good.
Okay, I know
right?
that. Yeah.
But a 911's better. They both go about the same speed. They both do the same thing. One of them is actually less practical than the other one, and yet, why would anybody buy a 911? I don't have to say that to the people that matter, but the douches on YouTube, all the ones that taught me about the Active 3 months ago when we've been working on it for a year and a half. Get out of here, lady.
That's probably them. They're watching us.
Yeah, Lake County. Lake County peoples.
We heard what you said about us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Timothy Roach here in the chat. Some good news for you. Matt, you're lucky to have Michelle and kids, and they're lucky to have you as a husband and dad. What other people say to you? Tough for you guys.
It's a good mix, And so it's like people all the time are asking that they insert their things into our things, and we have a good combo. That's why it works. All of the 4 of us. The other night, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So Mike and Maureen are over, and Mike, guys know Mike. Mike Mike Figueroa does all the garage stuff and all the crazy projects with me. Mike made some chicken. I'm on my special meals, so Michelle somehow talked him into making food, coming to our house and making food, and so Michelle cuts up the chicken for Kate and Ryan, and they're you can tell they're hungry. So Kate's sitting there, and this is the first time like there's too much going on. Mike and Maureen and Michelle are talking at each other, and I'm just sitting there, with my head just listening, just watching them do their thing, and I'm watching Kate, and I know what's going to happen, but I'm watching her, and she goes. She's looking at the chicken. Normally she'd be like, dismiss it, like I'm not eating that. But she, for whatever reason, she was preoccupied and just going to eat, almost like you put mac and cheese in front of her, like it was just old hat. Where normally she's fighting you to death, saying, "I'm not eating that." And so she goes and takes the chicken, Starts chewing it up. She's watching, and I see her go. just, and no one else noticed. It wasn't. She wasn't making any noise or anything. And I started busting out laughing like I couldn't breathe. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. So there was no like. She wasn't doing it to show anyone. She wasn't doing it to like show off. She's just genuinely disgusted by the flavor that hit her tongue. And oh man, it was such something I would do for sure. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. No regard to anybody else's feelings, or it's just let me just say what is so, and it's just let me just spit this thing out on the plate. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And then she thought I was laughing at her, and then she got all bent out of shape, and it starts throwing a temper tantrum and all that crap. Oh, it was wonderful. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time.
All right, we got a super chat here from SJ, $5. If you could build your own pressure washer and money was no object, is there anything you would do to improve the OG spec pressure washers?
I would build it for a 20 amp dedicated circuit, and I would build it we do a 20 amp dedicated circuit because we have to, right? So I would. And you can build an electric motor to spec, so let's say we would build it to draw, say, 17.5 amps or whatever the maximum. I'm sure one of our engineer buddies are going to yell at me, but to whatever, 75% draw on a 20 amp circuit. So let's say it draws whatever that is.
15.
Yeah, it would have to be more. It's more than 70. Maybe it's 90%. Whatever 18. You can draw maximum on a 20 amp circuit. And then you'd work from there, and then you'd want as much flow as possible. I'd target 1,000 psi is what I would target, and a 45-degree nozzle, 1,000 psi, and then I'd squeeze as much GPM as I could get out of as much flow as possible out of a 18 amp, 1,000 psi electric motor, and I would do a full stainless head, and I would design a deionized system that matched the pressure washer. That's what we would do. That's what we're gonna do someday. That's the plan.
There you go. Let's see here. Hey Matt, this is from Joseph in the chat. I've started making furniture. Do you have any tips on how to start a business to start selling it?
It's such a hard thing to provide advice to because everybody's different. What's your skill set? My skill set is to stand in front of a camera and talk for 45 minutes straight about something I like. But not everyone can. That's not everyone's thing. Maybe your skill set is, taking great photos and writing or something, or maybe your skill set is something else. Maybe it's something so unique that we couldn't dream it up right here. And so I think you figure out. If you like making furniture, what way do you like to share it? What's the way? Do you enjoy sharing it in person? Do you enjoy sharing it? Do you want to have a business that's infinitely scalable, where you're sharing it online only? Do you want to do sort of a hybrid? Adams was Adams Polishes was a hybrid. They did catalog, then they did forum, and then they're doing everything in person, and they went after OEMs, so they went extremely diversified in their customer base, where I'm doing it a little bit more specific. This is the specific niche I'm looking for. So I think you figure out what avenue you enjoy, and then that will allow you to chase a whole lot harder and a whole lot more often. Maybe you enjoy building a website around it, and so there's going to be some stuff you're going to have to do that you don't like, but I think that's how I would approach it, and I wouldn't model it after anybody else. Obsessed Garage is modeled after no one. I mean, now you could say it is because there's freaking 57 copies of it, but no one else is doing it this way. No one else would be stupid enough to curate stuff and not try to negotiate volume, and no one would choose one soap, and it's just that no one's done it. No one did it that way. Maybe Apple, but Apple's a manufacturer. They're making their own stuff. So that's what I would do.
All right, I think that's all we got for today. We got a late start. Sorry about that again, but we had some
Yeah, I'm going to go back to grinding away.
Real man work with real man tools.
Put the E36 set up. Putting the temporary suspension. I'm doing TC Klein suspension for now, and then when the TTX gets here, in a few months, I'll pull that off and put it on.
So we'll be back next week to talk about Mother's Day and what Matt's doing for Mother's Day.
I have no idea, no concept.
Fishing
for
poles.
any of that. Yeah.
Fishing pole storage.
Fishing pole hooks in the back porch where I can't see them. See you later, people. Thanks for listening and watching, whatever.